What's up, ladies and gents, boys and girls of all ages? Brian here with ETM 540 Clubhouse. Back to it with the old 1985 Honda ATC70 125 shifter, clutch, mix match Frankenstein, parts we had laying around, excess random nonsense, needing a whole bunch of work, but not too much work. Rat rod, drift trike, bailed. God, that just about took a full minute. Hey, thanks for joining us again. We are excited to get back on this. We are super stoked to be in our beautiful shop. Pretty freaking windy out there. And speaking of that, LA is currently on fire, like all over the place. And it's crazy. And we've been watching the news. We're thinking about you guys. If you're in LA and you need a place to store some bikes, let us know. Hit us up in our email, etm540clubhouse@gmail.com. We will even come down and help you grab them and bring them up if needed, if you need a place to store them. Just because we know there's a lot of devastation. We're about 3.5 hours north, and we can't help a lot, but we'll help with what we can. So yeah, we're thinking of you guys down there. That's gnarly. But anyways, we're going to get back to this. And today, I think, is going to be a plastics day, just because we have some stuff to figure out. And when we ended last video, we got some stuff stitched up. We pulled down the original plastics, not from this particular bike, but from an ATC70. And I want to find a way to kind of finagle these two together. So initially I was thinking about doing some chopping and modifying. When on the way here today, I was like, what the hell? I could very easily just take the pan and chop that out of this and form the fenders from that around that. And it all makes sense when I do it. But the reason why I wanted to do that is because of the fact that the other bigger fenders, the ones that are on there right now, those ones will actually fit better with the tire configuration we have rather than these. Plus, we got a kickstart to worry about. So we need to make sure we have plenty of room. That I don't mind trimming up and it still will look cool. Those are beat up. They've been sitting around for a while, so we'll be good. So we're going to start by just kind of tracing some stuff out and starting to trim wide. We'll trim wide and then trim down as needed. So hopefully we don't get gnarly with it. So anyways, let's freaking do this. Okay. So we're going to start by wiping off the years of dust that these have had from sitting on a shelf and not being used whatsoever. And in theory, if we hack along where we can connect the other ones to, and we'll try and keep some of the integrity of what makes these cool as much as we can. But if we do that, then we have a point to mount to with some other fenders where we can mount them off of this and then drill some holes and literally just bolt them on there. Theory. So I'm just going to draw some lines first and see, and I'm actually going to go lower on this side. Or no, I'm going the same. But I'm going to draw some lines first and then draw some lines on the other one. And hopefully, just hopefully, we can have something that'll somewhat match up to where you slip this in around this and then it just, yeah. I don't know, we'll see. I may have to actually come out a little further now that I'm looking at it. But we'll see. We'll check it out. So that's that one. So if we take the one that belongs on it and we put it there, and then we take this one and we put it there, our point Ooh. This might actually turn out a little different. I think we gotta hack this one up first, because as it sits, when it sits like that, it matches up pretty good right in this area. So, but then we also got these in the way right here. So I'm gonna take these off. We gotta take those off to where this will fit on this a little bit better. And then we can have a better idea. Okay, time for time lapse. Okay, we're gonna let that soak for a little bit, because it's not crucial that we get that part off for this part of the process. But what is crucial is finding the way that these fit best on top of each other in a way where it's gonna function for the sake of the bike. And so far, it slides in best like that, right there. So if we can just match up as best possible the pans together, then we will be good. That's why I'm thinking that this just needs to be cut. We just need to do some trimming on this one, and then we literally just bolt them together. I mean, it's a rat rod. It's not meant to be pretty. But for the most part, everything's lining up pretty dang good for the sake of what we need it for. So I think smart move is trim these out all the way around. Just these portions right here. Just cut these fenders off basically, but leave our sides, and then we can start trimming around on what we don't need off of these ones, basically, is what I'm getting at. So yeah, we're just gonna start cutting and see what happens. So now we're really gonna go into a time-lapse mode. Because cut through plastic, well, when you got a cutting wheel, not too bad, but it's not the funnest either. And we'll clean it up, we'll sand it, we'll make sure it's not sharp, but yeah, let's start marking around things and see what happens. And just so you guys can see more of a close-up of what I'm talking about. I mean, that's literally, that pan is just sitting inside this one, and we just need to eliminate all the other stuff that's gonna get in our way when we put it onto the chassis. So it'll make more sense once it's more cut, and I'm trying not to go too crazy because I don't wanna do anything that's gonna harm the build in itself. And by saying that, I mean, I don't wanna have to backtrack on anything. I want this to function for what we have, because what we're using is, like I said, it's stuff that we've been collecting for a very long time. We have racks of stuff, and it's stuff that's not going to ever be put back to stock. We have those. They're over here. We have one right there, our very first build actually. And we have stuff to use. So with this, I just want to get it right the first time, so that way when we do put it together, we don't have to go backtrack on any of it, and we can functionally use the kickstart and all that good stuff. And I already said all this. Let's freaking cut some crap. Yeah! All right, well, now that we got both those cut into somewhat workable pieces, we just need to slap it on and kind of just figure out where else we need to make the adjustments. And honestly, there's not that much that was left over as far as the scrap goes. I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, what could I freaking build out of those pieces just so we can keep the spirit alive, you know? I am going to keep some of it, and then the rest that's just kind of garbage is going to go in the old trashy can. And that's, oh, sorry, I got you on the big tripod. And that's mainly because if you, here, let me pick one up. If you hear this, it is crunchy. And that's why I didn't mind cutting these up so much because, you know, it's, yeah, you get it. So yeah, from here, I just want to do some more mock-up type stuff and then see what else we need to cut. And then we will probably, because I got to get going, come back tomorrow to start kind of bolting things together and see what happens. But yeah, whew, it's looking good. A lot of cutting. And right now, it doesn't seem like much to me, but it's going to get there. So yeah, let's flip it around, see what it looks like when they're now cut into size, what they look like. Okay, let's check this out. Oh God, a little slippery. Shavings and crap everywhere. All right, let's just handle that because we don't need this crap no more. I freaking thought the door was closed the whole time. Freaking cat. All right, is there two of them now? What the hell? Jeez, we're gonna have to get some traps or something. Okay, anyways, here is the OG. Fits right on there. And now we are adapting fits right on there. And now we are adapting these two together somehow. And I can already see where we need to trim up, but I can also see how well it's going to come together once we figure out our lines and how that's going to happen. Because we want to keep some of the cool shape of it, but here, it makes more sense if you obviously see it closer. Okay, so I was hoping to keep that bottom little flange thingamabibis-kaboo-kaboos.
What the hell are you talking about?
Because I think it looks kind of cool to keep that original kind of flavor on there. And the problem that I'm having is right here with all this. So I'm thinking that if we cut back a little bit maybe, and then come over, I think that's going to be the ticket on both sides. Because that little overhang is pretty much the only thing that's not making this look well. And the rest of it, like even right here, this kicks up a little, but I can cut that. Or maybe even, I might even be able to bolt that down. So we'll see. Because we do need to get a seat on here and I want to make sure that all the holes line up. So that even might be something that we cut out. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do that. I think we're gonna have to cut it here. Yeah, maybe we'll get it all in one fell swoop. Something like that, I don't know. We're gonna have to play around with some whole magic marker. But the great part is that the booty looks freaking cool. I like that. That's what I'm going for right there. I wanted to keep the stitching. I wanted to keep the mud flap holes because I do want to put those back on. And yeah, I mean, I like how the rear's looking. It's just a matter of getting to the front. So we'll play around with a little more cutting and, or, you know, drawing and stenciling. And the figuring out part, you know what I mean? And then we'll do those cuts and mock her back on there and see where we're at. Because we still have to be able to put a seat in. And the seat pan does have specific holes it has to fit into. So that's another thing that we have to factor in is extending the bolts or whatever, or you know what I mean. So yeah, but so far, I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty stoked. So let's play around with some more doodly doddlies and go from there. Gaboosh. That actually fits super well. Only thing I'm worried about, we may have to trim a little off the front here because we got a bigger tank going on, and I don't want the tank hitting, or the forks hitting the tank. So we may need to cut that back a little bit. Totally cool, no worries. But for the most part, it's looking pretty good. I think once the seat's on there, it'll hide up a lot of stuff. And I think once we get the flaps on there, it'll make it look a lot better. The only other thing that we need to do is definitely slot out where it needs to be for the seat to fit in. Because right now, where is that thing? Right now, it is too far forward. So it is definitely going to need to be trimmed out some more in some areas to allow for the seat to sit in there with this, but we'll figure that out tomorrow because I got other stuff to do. So I need to leave. But so far, looking pretty good. I like it. I like it. And just for the sake of not leaving you guys out again, that's what it's looking like from the front. A little funky, not too great, but not terrible either. It's not supposed to look amazing. It's got those nice wide fenders, really cool looking booty. And if I need to, we can still come back on these more to make them look a little more streamlined. Right now, it's kind of just it's a little weird because it's just a big old front. And I know this side right here, when you're kicking on this, you're not going to be wanting to catch your calf on that thing. So yeah, we'll still end up doing some more. For now, as far as just the semi-shape goes, we're looking pretty good. So I'm okay with it. I think what I want to do is tomorrow or whenever I come back, I would just like to go ahead and put the flaps back on. So that way, if there's any other trimming going on, then we know that it's going to be cut along with it, basically. And that way we just kill two birds with one stone because it's just freaking plastic. So there's no need for us to worry so much about it. And then we'll start working in the seat where we can and figuring out where we need to cut down to get into the areas where the mounts go and the bolts and all that. So that's a pretty good, for now, good little chunk of plastic cut away to make things work. So I'm going to leave it on a good note. I'm liking where it's heading, but got other things to do. So we're going to kill it and we'll see you mañana. On a mission. Almost home. Almost made it. Gotta do some stuff. Yeah. Oop, this is the area I'm looking for. Yeah. I got hose in different area codes. Okay, whatever. Yep, see you guys tomorrow. Alrighty then. Back to it. Time to get rocking again. Yeah, we didn't make it back tomorrow. Or yesterday. The other day that I said we were going to be here. We definitely overshot. But things happen. Life happens. And it is what it is. Yeah. But I did have time to think about the process we're going to go through in this. And in that process, or in that time of thinking, I should say, I realized that I may have muffed up a little bit. But not bad. But we'll see. Because we don't know yet. Because we're still working on it. And you got to figure things out. And sometimes you're going to have wins and sometimes you're going to have failure. Why am I getting so close right now? This is awkwardly weird. And oh my God, you saw all my pores. Okay, that was weird. So anyways, it's a little cold. So I'm apologize for the hood and thing. But California's cold. It's windy because the fires are still raging down south right now, which is crazy. And we're still, thinking of all of you down there as far as getting through that. It's gnarly. But it is freezing. Like the mornings, I've been freaking freezing. So anyways, enough of this small talk. You guys want to see the build stuff. So this is what I thought of. Here, let me show you. So I had this inner plastic set back way too far. And it would have taken way too much work to get all that stuff situated. So I found out that within these holes, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, probably not. But those two rear holes actually line up to two holes that are on the other plastics. So I'm going to bolt those two together. And from there, we can drill out whatever other holes we need to drill out in here or whatever, to hold it here and here probably. And then we just cut out that center section, the section where it's got the need to drop down for the seat right there. And then we should be good to go. In theory, of course. So, with that theory, gosh dang, I don't need this anymore. Yeah, by the way, go support these guys. Community Vibes Garage, rocking it. Hell yeah, Mead. So anyways, I'm going to get some bolts, some nuts. Too bad Denny's going to miss the nuts part because he loves nuts so much. We'll bolt those two current holes together and then we'll freaking go from there. So let's look for some nuts and bolts. Bolts and nuts. Why is there a fabric softener here? It's weird. Weird day. All right, let's do this. Well, I was a little worried at first, but that came out better than I thought. And the cool thing, and the thing that I like the most about how it's dialing in, I'm sure there may be some trimming I need to do, but with the OG, it's over here. But with the OG seat, it actually sinks in to the 185 plastics. So it lowers it, because on the OG ATC70s, the seat actually sits on top, and I've never really liked that about those. So this one kind of makes it a little more like streamlined and kind of like low pro and stuff. So this seat, I haven't decided if we're going to redo it. I think we are going to reupholster it. I have an idea. If we do, I may take a little bit of foam out of it and actually lower it even more. But for now, that looks good. So I'm stoked. And the mud flaps have got to stay. I love them. I think they're rad. So But yeah, I think for the most part, that's like legitimately exactly what I was going for. I'm actually really pumped that it all came together how I envisioned it. So let me flip it and then I'll show you how it all went down. So basically, stock ATC70 pan, that sits right into the original ATC70 plastics. And then we cut out that little section right there from the 185 plastics to where it'll mount up to the actual frame in the chassis where the holes are. So that worked out really good. And then we just literally sandwiched those together with bolts. So that worked out perfect. We did have to cut all this. It looked stupid not to, so I'm glad that we did. Like I said, we may mold some things together a little better, but for now, it honestly works. And we just used some bolts and some nuts right there, and boom, bam, you're done. I mean, you got a full set right there, full set of plastics, and it works and it functions. And we are going to need to probably trim some of that out so we can put the seat in nicer. And like I said, we are going to do some modifying to this probably with the upholstery. We may leave it, we may not. Some of this pan needs to be bent out a little bit more, but all in all, it freaking worked out great. Super pumped. Doesn't look good now though. That's not what it's supposed to look like. So with that, we're gonna call it good, because that was a decent session of stuff, and that was a lot of figuring out. And pretty much a big part of it, honestly, like a lot of the lines and the stuff that flow for the rest of this build, you know, it all has to kind of sync together. And to tell you the truth, I mean, like, for some plastics that were just kind of sitting around and they were no good, and able to just piece them together and make them look like something, I'm freaking happy. And it's a rat rod build. I mean, come on now. It doesn't need to be perfect. So anyways, thank you guys so much for coming along on this build that's been way too long in the making, that we're super excited for. We got more stuff coming in for it. I'm not going to tell you exactly what those are, but it's pretty fun. And yeah, I did dig out the pieces of trimmed plastics from the trash because I thought of an idea for a wasteland thing. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. So thank you guys for all the support, commenting, subscribing, all the love. We'll see you in the next video. All right, little FYI for you guys. If you or someone you know owns a 1996 Harley-Davidson motorcycle, we have two of them, and you are having issues with your starter button not functioning, or just power issues in general, a little something that took me a long time to figure out, that I finally did, and I'm freaking super pumped on, because now it feels like all the little demon bugs that were causing havoc are hopefully gone now. But there's a specific wire loom that goes, well, here, let me show you. Okay, on the right side of your head tube, or just like your, there's this little wire, or wire pack, I guess you could say, and lo and behold, inside that is one of your power wires that goes from your starter button and your on-off switch all the way through back to under the seat, the main little computer area, and fuse and relay area. And if this thing is loose and hits your handlebar stop, so your bars don't hit your tank, well, it basically cuts them all in half. So I ended up having to open that up, do some surgery, and get it working again. And since doing so, it freaking runs and works perfect. Everything. So I'm super stoked. I could not find a single thing on the internet about it. Literally could not find anything. I mean, I checked all the things that what was on the internet told me to check, and everything worked out perfect. Like, it was all fine. Testing, doing the voltmeter, all that was working. And then it turned out to just be one wire pack that slipped out of its normal spot, creating all freaking hell. So yeah, anyways, check that. and then you can get back to riding. Well, if the weather's nice. It's cold out right now, but Harley-Davidson, baby. All right. Love you guys.